It was a rainy Memorial Day weekend in Washington, D.C. The streets around the White House were filled with tourists braving the usual drizzle and reporters setting up for their evening news broadcasts. This routine activity was playing out right at the edge of the world's most heavily guarded physical perimeter, specifically at Gate 17, where the public sidewalks of 17th Street intersect with Pennsylvania Avenue. Then the routine shattered. 21-year-old Neutralizes Best walked up to the checkpoint, drew a handgun from a messenger bag, and rapidly fired at least 3 shots directly toward the complex. In a matter of seconds, the illusion of a peaceful public park vanished. The street became an active combat zone, forcing a massive security apparatus to react immediately to a lethal, street-level threat. The immediate cost of that gunfire fell on the public ring. A civilian bystander was struck and critically injured in the crossfire before anyone could even process what was happening. On the North Lawn, the situation dissolved into localized panic. Reporters who were mid-sentence on live television had to duck and abandon their camera pods to take cover in the grass. The Secret Service issued an immediate containment order. Every journalist and external personnel member on the lawn was commanded to sprint inside the White House press briefing room and lock the doors. The chaos on the street proved how exposed the outer perimeter can be. But that exposure is precisely what triggers the next layer of defense, shifting the scenario from civilian panic to a highly coordinated tactical response. Just past the public sidewalk sits the hard perimeter, a boundary fortified by structures like the Eisenhower Executive Office Building. The Secret Service response at this line was instantaneous. Heavily armed officers on the ground and marksmen on the rooftops returned fire immediately, unleashing a barrage of anywhere from 15 to 30 rounds. Best was struck multiple times. He was neutralized on the spot and transported to a local hospital where he later died. This use of force is the result of decades of hardening. After gunmen fired at the White House in 1994 and again in 2011, the Secret Service completely rewrote their perimeter protocols to ensure a decisive response to incoming fire. Officers on this line aren't training for de-escalation. Their mandate is to definitively end any kinetic threat before it can touch the fence. While bullets hit the concrete outside, the innermost ring went into total lockdown. Heavy doors were secured, isolating the executive branch from the violence unfolding just yards away. At the center of these concentric rings is the President of the United States. As the gunfight broke out near Gate 17, President Trump was inside the White House, negotiating a high-stakes geopolitical deal regarding Iran. The diplomatic conversation continued without interruption while the shooting took place outside. It demonstrated the security model's ability to completely insulate the core from the chaos of the perimeter. But the investigation into Neutralizes Best revealed a more complex problem. He was already known to law enforcement, having had 2 prior encounters with the Secret Service earlier that year. This fits the profile of a grievance collector. These individuals meticulously connect personal frustrations to broader political narratives, harboring perceived injustices. Online echo chambers act as a catalyst. Validating these frustrations, the scattered grievances merge into a single vector, pushing the subject toward physical action. Physical barriers are highly effective at stopping a shooter. However, they cannot identify the exact moment a known wolf transitions from harboring a digital grievance to executing physical violence. This attack follows an Aeschylean pattern of violence in the Capitol, coming just weeks after a shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner and recent attacks on National Guard members. Every new incident forces a permanent heightening of the security posture. Routine checkpoints multiply, and public avenues are increasingly transformed into militarized zones. While the White House perimeter held the threat at the sidewalk, the recurring presence of snipers and lockdowns is transforming the Capitol's public image. Every new barricade on Pennsylvania Avenue serves as a reminder that the next threat could be standing right beside the public in line. The Secret Service flawlessly executed its tactical mandate to protect the core, but no amount of perimeter defense can fix the underlying societal fractures that keep bringing shooters to the gates.